What's a bad miracle? We got a word for that.
Nope is one of the worst movies I've seen in a long time. I love Jordan Peele, and Keke Palmer can act her ass off, but this movie is objectively slow and confusing, with stretched themes that don't justify the pace. A thread. Hello everybody, welcome back to 2016. Hello friends, welcome back to another episode of In the
Bowie.
Okay. It's me, Elvis the Alien, making a commentary video on another YouTuber. I've been a good boy for quite some time, okay? I haven't been throwing shade non-stop like I used to, but then I was browsing Twitter one day and I came across Logan Paul's tweet about the new Jordan Peele movie Nope. And when I say tweet, I mean tweets. It's quite a long thread. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, can't even count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, he even numbers them. It's so weird to number the tweets in a thread, but he only starts numbering them once he starts asking questions about the movie. So while there's only 10 questions, there's actually 13 tweets. 13 tweets about this movie. He really did not like it. So I went and I saw it last night. So did the star of The Thinning and Airplane Mode make any good points?
No! No, I'm fucking not!
Not really. He couldn't see anything past the surface, and it's frankly embarrassing. I liked Nope a lot. I mean, not only because it has to do with aliens, and I like sci-fi, but this movie is way more than just your standard alien horror movie. It's a commentary on spectacle and greed. This theme is hammered into your brain non-stop throughout the movie. I thought the sound design was really cool. There will be spoilers for Jordan Peele's Nope, so if you haven't seen the movie, then maybe you should skip this video. For those that have seen the movie, let's continue. I really like the idea of taking a UFO, a very recognizable object in the sci-fi realm. Everybody knows what a UFO looks like.
You don't even call them UFOs anymore. It's fucking UAPs now.
Jordan Peele took this idea and put his own little spin on it. He made the UFO itself an alien, and the tractor beam hole is just a mouth that the alien uses to feed. I thought the acting was great across the board. There's a lot of funny moments in this movie. I thought it was a very solid movie overall, but this is not really a review of Nope. It's more so a review of Logan Paul's review of Nope. So let's go over Logan Paul's complaints. It's not hard to conceptualize something disturbing. A trained chimp goes animalistic and mauls an entire set, or a UFO devours anything in its path. It is hard to sensibly tie it to the plot, which was done remarkably poor here. This is a massive self-report by Logan. Basically, he's saying he didn't understand what was going on when he was watching it, which is even weirder because why wouldn't he just Google it, you know, instead of making a fool of yourself on Twitter? It's very odd behavior, but coming from the guy who made the vlog, you know, maybe it checks out. Everything in this movie does tie together. On the surface, some scenes might seem like pretty random events, but if you think about it for, I don't know, more than 5 minutes, then you realize how they're connected. For example, Steven Yeun plays a character named Jupe. He was a child star in this very popular sitcom, and they used a chimp in this sitcom. On one tragic day of filming, a balloon popped, scaring the chimp. And so it went ballistic, and it started attacking the people on set. Jupe is just a little boy, and he's staring as this horror is unfolding in front of him from underneath a table. He notices one of his co-star's shoes is off of her foot, and it's standing upright. It's very bizarre. At first, as a viewer, you might think that this shoe has something to do with the aliens in the movie, because when you go in to watch this movie, you have your preconceived notions of how an alien movie should be. When weird things happen, it's because of the aliens, right? That's how we've been trained to think about aliens through media. So when Jordan Peele shows us this shoe standing upright, it's kind of tricking the audience, you know? It's like, oh my God, the aliens are involved somehow.
Yeah, good if we're selling a horse's ass.
When really they're not. The shoe is just an anomaly. It's a symbol. It's supposed to represent people's obsession with things that are out of the ordinary and wanting to take advantage of that. So while this massacre is unfolding in front of Jupe, he can't help but notice the shoe. And since he wasn't staring at the chimp, some could argue that the shoe saved his life. And when the chimp does notice him in this scene, it's through a tablecloth, and so the chimp can't really see him, and it reaches out towards him. But Jupe, as a child, thinks this is a sign that he's invincible. And so when he grows up as an adult, he feels this same way about the UFO. He feels like he's the chosen one.
You're chosen.
and that these strange things that happen around him are happening because he's special. Obviously, this isn't the case, and weird things just happen sometimes. And in this Jordan Peele movie, the alien or the UFO or jean jacket, they call it jean jacket in this movie, is just an animal from space. There aren't incredibly intelligent, big-headed aliens aboard this thing like you would assume. Jordan Peele even bamboozles the audience early in the movie by having a bunch of actors dressed up as aliens prank OJ.
It's right behind me, isn't it?
I think it was pretty ingenious how Jordan Peele was taking all these very stereotypical alien tropes and used them to toy with the audience, make them think that the movie's going in a certain direction, because that's what we're used to, right? When really the movie is basically just about people and their barbaric need to take advantage of any spectacle, sometimes even at the cost of their own lives. Here's Logan Paul's first question. No one was curious how a quarter shot through a man's face and killed him, or why a key was lodged in the backside of the horse he was riding? It feels like Logan didn't even watch the movie. Maybe he was on his phone, who knows. What happens in this scene, after Alien is done sucking up a bunch of stuff, it then expels everything that isn't digestible. That includes loose change and forks. In the movie, they brush it off as some freak accident, giving us the explanation that a plane dropped some random shit.
They said it was a private plane or something that killed Pops. That shit ain't never made sense to me.
While this was very strange to OJ, he did accept that it was a freak accident until other oddities started showing up, like the cloud that didn't move, the power going out randomly, you know, things like that.
Yeah, now you mention it, I'll probably be looking at the same damn cloud every day for the last 6 months.
Logan's second question, why/how did the shoe stand upright on the set of Gordy's home? This one I'm sure has a reason, but I haven't found anything that makes sense. Well, the why and how aren't really important. It's just the fact that it happened, because it happened. There's no hard reasoning for this. Peele keeps these details kind of ambiguous. We aren't sure of whether or not these are just from Jupe's memory. Jupe was fascinated with the shoe and kept his eyes on the shoe. This ended up saving his life, which works in contrast later in the film because people have to avert their gaze from the alien in order to keep themselves alive. Whether or not the shoe was actually standing upright or if it was in Jupe's memory is irrelevant. The only thing that matters is that to Jupe, this happened, and it was very strange. Later in the movie, we find that Jupe, as an adult, has put this same shoe in a glass case in a little museum that he made. That was entirely about the sitcom that he was a part of and the tragedy. People tend to put value on things that are rare, things that don't happen very often, and that's what happened with the shoe. So when Jupe saw that, he took it as a sign, when it was really just a random event.
It was a spectacle. People are just obsessed.
Logan Paul's third question. The deep voice cinematographer was cryptic for no reason other than to be cryptic. You're telling me this guy was willing to die because he wanted better lighting to capture the ET? For real? Yes. This guy was never satisfied. Earlier in the movie, it showed him watching over footage that he had of two animals fighting each other, something that most people don't see, but for him, it wasn't that special. He needed something bigger, something more impressive. He needed the perfect shot of the one thing humanity just couldn't get a good picture of. He completely threw self-preservation out the window. Question 4. Man on the motorcycle. Why was his voice deep and robotic, framed to be an antagonist who would have a grand reveal? Mystery, solely for the sake of mystery, is confusing and leaves too many open ends for a viewer trying to invest themselves in a storyline. This reporter is faceless for a reason. His helmet is literally just a giant round mirror, a reflection of everybody. How most people will rush to the scene of a spectacle to try and exploit it for their own gain. This guy is you, Logan Paul, quite literally. Remember the vlog? Kind of hilarious how this part went over your head when it's literally just a reflection of yourself. Question 5. My next point. The storyline is all over the place. In a crowd of 40 people, the actress who was modeled on the set of Gordy's home was there. Why? Shock factor because of her scarring? Does she come to all of them? Did she come before the ET feeding? How does he not get this? Jupe brought her here because they keep in touch and they're friends. It's that deep, like.
That's what she said.
And it was just a way for them to show us her many years later. It also could have been a way to show us that even when someone faces the full repercussions of toying with something that they don't fully understand, like an actress with a chimp, she didn't learn her lesson and she still went out of her way to go towards the spectacle, to see the amazing UFO, you know? Question 6. Jupe has trauma with the phenomena, he meant to put phenomena here. Jupe has trauma with the phenomena of commercializing predators for profit. And for the last 6 months, he's been feeding horses to an ET in the sky. But what about before that? What is the purpose of that creepy cowboy theme park? I think it was just like a cowboy theme park. Those exist, you know?
Here I come.
When the UFO was discovered, they decided to center the attraction around that as well. Question 7. Why was so much emphasis placed on the name of the horses? They had title cards. Every animal that was used and exploited has a title card in this movie. Even Gordy the Chimp had a title card, and all these horses were used in Hollywood. And finally, Jean Jacket, or the alien, is obviously the victim of a bunch of people trying to exploit it at the end of the movie. Question 8. Why was Barbie Ferreira, an incredible acting talent, so underutilized in this movie? Why was she even in the movie? I'm just gonna skip over this one. Question 9. Way to strip all the life from a phenomenal actor, Daniel Kaluuya, by casting him as possibly the most mundane vanilla character I've ever seen. Not a question, I'm just pissed. I thought Daniel Kaluuya did a really great job in this movie. What is he talking about? Not all good acting has to be bombastic and loud and crazy, you know? Daniel was very subtle with his acting, but it was still very effective and very funny at times.
OJ! It's in the cloud!
I don't know what he means by this. Number 10, an extraterrestrial creature that is advanced enough to fully shapeshift, activate an anti-electromagnetic field, and propel itself in any direction quickly and quietly, can't tell the difference between a plastic inflatable and a viable meal.
Somehow you'd think that a man who can send a rocket into space would be able to manage a halfway decent birthday present. Nope.
Okay, so at the end of this movie, the way they defeat it, Emerald Haywood releases this massive balloon, and it's shaped like a cowboy, and it floats up with this alien. She's trying to get a perfect picture of this alien as it attacks the huge balloon using this well camera that's like pointed upwards. This alien, like any other animal, learns and adapts to its environment. The humans have outsmarted it and they're not looking at it anymore, and it only knows to suck up its prey when they're looking at it for some reason. So in order to try and get its prey to look at it, it transforms into this like beautiful jellyfish looking thing in an attempt to get people to look at it, you know? Throughout the movie, OJ has learned the animalistic behaviors of the alien because he works very closely with horses. He knows a lot about animals and how they behave. For some reason, it doesn't like kites and it doesn't like stringy things, balloons, stuff that can get stuck in its windpipe, I guess.
Got stuck in his windpipes or something.
I'm not sure how it can suck up homes and wood and shit like that, whatever. Either way, maybe the balloon was just too big for it. The balloon is like a big cowboy and it was looking at the alien. So maybe the alien thought it was prey and tried to eat it. Obviously, if it had eaten a massive inflatable before, it would have been killed. So this is the first time it's doing this and it ended up destroying it. The alien in this movie is not this extremely intelligent being. It's just an animal, you know? People learn that certain berries were poisonous by people eating them and getting sick. So the other people are like, okay, avoid this type of berry from now on. This alien is by itself. We don't know much about it, but for whatever reason, it decided to eat this massive balloon. Logan Paul ends his little Twitter rant by saying this: I love Peele, the VFX and aesthetic, but my thesis is this. I can feel him attempting to recreate the shock from Get Out and Us. Mystery, violent allure, and cinematic choices made for the sake of reaction instead of legitimate contribution to the storyline killed this movie for me. Yeah, but the mystery, the violent allure, and cinematic choices were not just for the sake of reaction, though. It goes a little bit deeper than that. Look, he's mad that it wasn't a legitimate contribution to the storyline. While I agree this movie is more focused on its themes, I don't think that's a bad thing. Pretty clear that Jordan Peele didn't care all that much about making things extremely obvious for the viewer, but I think keeping things ambiguous made the film more effective. And they weren't even that ambiguous to begin with, you know? This isn't a Charlie Kaufman movie or anything. It's just a fun horror movie with some pretty compelling themes. And I liked it a lot. I just think it's so ironic and hilarious that Logan Paul, of all people, just did not understand this movie at all. Like, this movie is just a commentary on people like Logan Paul. It's so good. Anyway, yeah, I just thought it would be funny to talk about this for a minute. Let me know what you thought of the movie Nope in the comment section down below. Thank you so much to all my patrons that support this channel. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!